So let's go for Process Lab and let's look into this in a bit more detail. And to tell us a bit more information about this, we have Gizem Okumus on the line. Hi, Gizem.
Hi, Tara. Happy to be here.
So Gizem heads up the Process Lab within the Intelligent Enterprise Institute. Perhaps we can start with a story about the Process Lab. How did it all get started?
So 2 years ago, in the summer days again, I was visiting one of my customers and they were in their big transformation project with S4. And while they're doing their transformation, they also wanted to make sure that they capture all of their S4 innovation and the less than newest innovation technology trends in their designs. Actually, they wanted to be an intelligent enterprise company from an enterprise stage. We met them 2 days on site and we had a lot of workshops where we do innovation empowerment, also the design thinking workshops with 6 different line of businesses. And while we are doing that, our ambition was building their innovation roadmap and also looking at how we can build up their process improvements roadmap. I basically realized from the business that end users are still spending a lot of time on the repetitive and non-value additive tasks. And basically by introducing the AI and automation, I realized how much value that I can bring to business, as well as how I can rapidly increase the profitability in the companies. With that mission, I decided when I'm back to Germany, the first thing that I wanted to do is initiating the Process Lab. And when we look at the Process Lab story, we basically wanted to bring the different process content from the SAP and the process experts, as well as the innovation architects together under one umbrella. Actually, it was not hard because everything what we needed was already in SAP. It was just bringing them all under one umbrella. And later on, all together, we built also a methodology which we call BOOM, Business Outcome Optimization Method. In that method, we have been leveraging a lot of line of businesses from finance, from recruit to retire, and all of the SAP portfolio best practices. And with that, we aim to build their to-be designs by leveraging the technology trends. And even with the COVID times, we managed to make that completely remotely available. But we all know that process improvements, first of all, start with understanding the process insights. What are the process insights? First of all, we need to make sure that business goals are defined, value drivers, performance indicator, usage views, and automation potentials are known, which we call business process insights. The second step is as well visualizing all of these insights along with the process simulations, documenting all of these processes, and providing collaboration along with the stakeholders is also very much important. Then comes the next things, how we can really improve our processes. Is there any automation opportunities? What are the SAP best practices and recommended quick wins? What are the low-hanging fruits that we can directly have in the short term? And maybe even redesign our business process flows and do some master data changes. And also, these are some of the questions that we could have answered with the Process Lab. But very shortly after that, SAP also came up with the Business Process Intelligence Strategy, and the solution completed the Process Lab. So let me tell you a little bit about this BPI and how the Business Process Intelligence helped the Process Lab as well. I just want you to think for a second and imagine you're taking the right data-driven decisions, you're having the full transparency about your processes, you're able to align the business and IT, and you're transforming your business predictably and safely. And they're all in one business transformation solution, which we call Business Process Intelligence. It helps and enables organizations to continuously understand, innovate, and transform all of their business. It has basically 3 main components, and by 2022, SAP plans to merge them all under one single platform. Business Process Intelligence Insights, Signavio, and Business Process Improvements. And basically, I have also 3 guests today to explain and each of them understand better. I want to first of all invite my first guest, Andrea Wentz. He was already, maybe you can recall him from the Berlin event. He was already our guest there. He was the founder of Spotlight back then, but I think there are some new changes since then. And let's hear from him what happened with the Spotlight, what is new in the process discovery, and what SAP has announced in this area.
Hey Gizem, thank you very much and great to be here. Exactly. I was already part of the last event in Berlin, which I remember fondly, sitting in the car in it was like a car movie cinema setting due to COVID to keep everyone safe. And I remember there's one of the greatest events that I had last year because there were not that many and this was a fun exercise and I loved it. So I wanted to also be part of this. And as Gizem said, a lot has changed since then. So we started what was called then Spotlight, a very quick turnaround report to help customers kind of use data and base their transformation on data looking at processes. And what we started then was heard inside of SAP and became part of the overall SAP strategy and a major pillar of the overall SAP strategy as a new business unit called Business Process Intelligence. Gizem, you already showed the different parts of the portfolio there. Right, so we took the next steps in that. We went from the Spotlight report, which was now rebranded as the Discovery Process Discovery Report, and this is still available, and this is still available for free for all customers of SAP. Just go to s4hana.com, and within a very fast turnaround, you can get a data-driven insights in your ERP systems. It can help you transform to S4 by looking at the data from your processes. We've now delivered more than 2,300 of these reports. We have a large benchmarking database. We allow you to compare yourself to your industry peers and look at this in a data-driven way. But also we're taking next steps, right? Besides just making this a new business unit, and as you can see on the slides now, taking the next steps to what we call SAP Process Insights. This is, let's say, the discovery report on steroids. It's the same thing, but it goes a lot deeper. It allows you significantly more drill down, has analytical capabilities, it has live system connection, and really allows you to keep the pulse on your processes, your process performance, and compare yourself to others for your SAP systems. This is only one part of the bigger, as we said, overall SAP and Signavio process transformation suite. You will later hear Sasha from Signavio talk about the other parts as well. And if you skip one slide, you will see for all of these things, we're already collecting a lot of feedback, working closely with customers. As we said, we delivered more than 2,300 of the reports already. We have more than 80 KPIs in org Unix and different kind of views for the process discovery. We're now adding more than 500 process indicators in a live system connections for the process insights. And then if we go to the joint suite with Signavio, this is really taking it to the next level, adding modeling capability, journey modeling capability, process mining capability, but also workflow. Sasha, I don't want to steal your thunder. You will go into the details in a second. So please skip one more slide ahead and I will talk a little bit about process insights. So what is Process Insights or SAP Process Insights? It's the next level of detail after the discovery report. It works with a focus on your SAP ERP and ECC system. It's all about helping you to understand your processes in the simplest and fastest possible way. It's really fast to get started. There is a very simple standard extractor to be run that automatically connects to our backends. And the main thing is really, it's about out-of-the-box content, right? We heard it over and over and again. If you know the problems that you have in the big problem areas, yes, you can start larger projects. Yes, you can go into the details and the myths, but usually people want, give me transparency within a day, give me ready-made metrics that I don't need to invent myself and help me learn from others. And that's exactly the approach that we're taking here with the focus to have the out-of-the-box content, to bring you analytical capabilities, and then link this directly. Don't stop at showing me the problems, but link this directly at the things that you can then improve, whether it's changing your model, whether it's invoking automation, bringing in RPA bots, defining workflows, or taking other actions like upskilling your team, doing training and enablement sections, right? All of these are possibilities to help make your processes run smoother. And we are the first stepping stone towards that and delivering that value. For us, it's all about ready-made out-of-the-box content. We don't want you to configure for ages. We don't want you to start looking at what can I do, what kind of metrics can I define, right? That's why we've been working with customers in that space for several decades, and we can really use the grown expertise in this, and we can bring you different flows, performance indicators, and corrective actions across all the lines of businesses that are covered in the ERP system, about most of the end-to-end processes and also the modular processes, to really look at yourself and get a feeling for your system and your enterprise in the fastest possible way. This is particularly interesting, obviously, in your S/4HANA transformation, right? Particularly focusing on the ECC and S/4HANA system, we can even do pre and post comparison. We can look at your old system in ECC before you start the transformation. We can also help you in the rollout in the new system in S4. So this is really our sweet spot, helping you to understand the current performance, figure out what you need to adjust, and then take the next steps towards understanding how to automate and bringing this to the next level. You go one step further, there's one thing that I would like to show you on the next slide, which is what we call the so-called process flows, right? The simplest way to get a feeling for how the process and the objects flow through your system. We all seen funnel conversion charts and sales. We all seen all these kind of different ways. And the way that we translate this to processes is taking a chunk of your objects, take for example sales orders or invoices, and then following them how they flow from a sales order through a transportation item, through the supply chain, through the delivery, then all the way to finance and then to your books. These are ready-made stencils that you can put to work, easy to interpret, figure out where the system breaks, and then drill in deeper, for example, using Signavio, is also going beyond SAP-only systems by using the process intelligence module from Signavio. You can further enhance this with the automation capabilities that we talked about earlier. And here you now see the roadmap. Obviously, we're adding more and more content, more templates, more analysis capability, but also adding further, bringing this further together with the Signavio capabilities in Suite to really offer the best-in-class and best of breed process management suite in the market. And I think that's the perfect segue to hand now over to the next part of the portfolio, to Sasha and my colleagues at Signavio.
And here is one of my guests, Alexander Lottery, who is the Global VP Professional Services at Signavio. So Sasha, we're all curious to know, what is Signavio? How did you really help your clients so far? Can you please tell us a little bit about that?
Thanks, Gism, and thanks for having me here. Maybe to answer your first question about who is Signavio, let me start by introducing our Signavio product portfolio. As a leading software vendor for business process management, our core offering is really what we call the Signavio Business Transformation Suite. The suite has different components that come together to support the various phases of a transformation journey, a company's transformation journey. So let's start with process managers. So process managers are our main component to design business processes, to document business processes for different audiences. This has typically different levels of detail, high-level processes for stakeholders, for process owners, information for subject matter experts that need to understand what their role is in the process, and then also lower-level details for IT, understanding what systems support the business processes, what transactions are used where, and so forth. Then we have the second component, a recent add-on, which we call the Journey Modeler. This is really a way to look at processes or the customer experience, so to say. What's the customer experience engaging with the company? What are the touch points? What are the obstacles, pain points? And then combining that with process information, this becomes very powerful to really understand how internal processes would have to change in order to improve, optimize the customer experience. So those are the main components that create content. The Collaboration Hub is our way of sharing information, collaborating around business processes throughout the organization. In our opinion, process management should not be done by only experts. This should be done by everybody, leveraging the wisdom of the crowd, leveraging the knowledge that's out in the organization. That's really the way, sharing, reviewing, getting feedback on new design, new process design, or making a recommendation on how something can be changed. Then we have our workflow accelerator. That's our workflow solution, a light workflow, simple workflow to automate manual tasks, inbox, tasks typically done through emails or spreadsheets, to govern processes also. So think of approving, reviewing process documentation, to manage process improvement ideas into a process portfolio, things like that. And last but not least, we have process intelligence. That's our process mining solution. That's really the tool to get insights into how your current processes work. We look at the digital footprint in your ERP system, supply chain system, CRM system, to understand how a process really behaves. So that's a big difference between analyzing the existing way of things, or the way things are done, and how they were maybe initially designed. So this is really providing insights, knowledge around actual process behavior, comparing process variation across different business units, locations, and making sure we have a full understanding of what's really happening in the organization. So that's our current product portfolio, the Signavio product portfolio. And I think what we're all excited about here at Signavio, and I know also our colleagues on the SAP side, are really combining that with the things Andrea just mentioned, right? Process insights, automation, other SAP solutions to build a combined BPI portfolio and innovate this even more going forward to deliver a holistic BPI process management solution to our customers. Maybe to answer your second question, what are our clients actually doing? Let's have a look at the next slide. So today we have about 1,200 customers worldwide with over 1 million Signavio users. And we really see a wide range of customers across regions, across industries. We've seen process management not so much being industry dependent or more dominant in certain regions. It's really across the board. But when we look at our customer base, we can probably segment in two ways. First, we have customers that undergo very large transformation initiatives, enterprise transformation things, business transformation, or IT transformation. That could be company-wide process standardization initiatives, harmonization, simplification type of things, process consolidation, like setting up shared services center, understanding how processes need to change there, processes, systems, roles, and so forth. It's used to support mergers and acquisitions, or it's used to build foundations for improvement programs. So on the IT side, the dominant one is already helping with big system transformation. I think the one that's maybe of interest to a lot of people here on this call is the S4HANA transformation, understanding what's happening in today's world, what are the pain points, what are the opportunities to improve this through HANA going forward. So that's the first segment. The second one is really more about process excellence initiatives. So it's more of a project focus, I would say. Things where we try to improve specific processes in an organization, like in order to cash, maybe a requisition to pay, address very specific pain points. The second type of initiatives in this category could be performance improvement initiatives, so improving customer excellence or running a cost reduction program. Looking into automation initiatives, of where do we have potential to automate instead of doing things manual, or risk and governance type of initiatives, looking at process more from a compliance standpoint. So when we now look at the last slide, let me try to illustrate a bit more. That's one customer example I picked out. It's a large high-tech entertainment hardware company, primarily based in or headquartered in Japan and the UK. A very large, complex organization with over 100,000 employees. They wanted to standardize, harmonize processes in the context of the SAP setup. Comparing different regions, understanding how those processes behave, perform, leading up to an S4HANA transformation, really getting insights into what's happening today, what's working well, which we want to continue doing, what are the things that can be improved, or even standardized across regions. That was the going in position. So we leveraged Signavio Process Intelligence to tap into the existing SAP systems, looked specifically at their complex order to cash process, focusing on delivery, payment performance, looking at cycle times, rework, inefficiencies, and all that. And by doing that, obviously providing a lot of insights into what's happening and augmenting the information that's captured through knowledge in the organization, through workshops, interviews, things that typically happen in those large transformation initiatives anyways. The results are quite impressive, I guess. In a very short period of time, you provide those insights, you find ways to cut cycle time, improve efficiencies, allows you maybe to identify opportunities to shift resources to other more value-adding activities. Those are all things that come out of those exercises with very little effort, supported by process intelligence and the Signavio Business Transformation Suite.
Thank you so much, Sasha. We're all very excited that Signavio, with the Signavio acquisition, and very warm welcome to SAP again on behalf of the SAP. So I think I can also introduce one of my last guests today, who is my partner in the crime, Rajat Jain, Head of Business Technology Platform Services in EMEA North. Rajat and myself, we've been fighting for innovation already for a while. And now with BPI, I think we'll be able to also understand even where to start from, what are the improvement needs based on the process discovery. But I think we're all curious to know, Rajat, what is next? How can our customers improve and automate their processes? How they can really leverage the innovation?
Thank you so much for asking this question, Gizem, and I'm very thankful for having invited to this event where I can quickly talk about where exactly we are with the customers. So we just heard how important it is to have optimized business processes and optimize our process that we have to establish in our customer landscape. Let's take a step back and see what our customers are saying. So COVID has taught us that more than 50% of organizations are looking at changing their existing business processes into automated processes. While they're doing that, they're facing a biggest challenge in terms of limited resources. So even though they have tech resources, but not all of them are really capable of doing it. And on top of it, we have a very complex IT landscape that we are looking at. One of the surveys reveals that mid-sized customers are having roughly about 126 different application systems. So when we talk about achieving business process intelligence or optimized business processes, we are looking at some of the key ingredients that we need before we really start with the process optimization. What exactly those ingredients are? So first of all, the very first ingredient that we are looking at is robotic process automation. We want to have a platform that allow us to build robotic process automation bots so that we can run our processes automated, and it goes across line of business or industries, regardless. But at the end of the day, these bots must be able to save us time, cost, and most importantly, achieve certain quality in the business processes. And of course, you would not like to build it all by yourself. We would like to have a platform that allows us to have these business processes out of the box, which means pre-built. So that's the first ingredient we are looking at. Second ingredient that we are looking at, if you go on the next click, so workflow management. We would like to have efficient workflow management. We would like to combine workflows across our LOBs, whether it is our customer success factors, HCM systems, or we are looking at procurement line of business, or we are looking at our digital core. We would like to have combined workflows so that we are expediting the processes. There could be configurable business rules and so on. And again, as I said before, we would like to have it out of box where we don't have to build everything from the scratch. But that's the second ingredient when we want to achieve optimized business processes. The third ingredient that we are looking at is our out-of-box business processes which are based on AI. Whether it is looking at business document processing or finding out a right cost center when you're posting an invoice, or when you are looking at manual invoice, scan them and then find out what is the right cost object this should be posted at. We are looking at out-of-box business processes or AI business services that can be offered through a platform. And it should again not be built, not be custom built, but something where our customers can provide data, train them with their data, where we can have desirable results. And these are the three main ingredients that we are looking at when we think of building BPI. Now, question is, what is that platform that offers us that? And that's exactly what SAP Business Technology Platform is all about. Here we are talking about a platform that will provide us end-to-end integration across the value chain. Whether it is a core or LOB system, this would be one platform that will enable us to have integrated processes across the value chain. This would be an extension, or whether it is an innovation through our machine learning custom processes or any kind of robotic business processes, we would be able to build all of it using that. And lastly, and most importantly, as Hervé said in the beginning, we are looking at converting data into a new gold. And that's exactly what this platform would help you with. This platform will help you analyze data, will help you run insightful analytics and provide meaningful insight so that certain business decisions can be taken promptly and proactively. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the platform we are looking at. At the end of the day, we need to start this journey through an Intelligent Enterprise Institute, and we go through Process Lab, and finally we realize those optimized business processes using Business Technology Platform. So, Ghislain, this is the answer. It's a bit longer than you may have expected, but this is the answer we are looking for, and this is the next thing we are looking for when it comes to how do we move on, how do we start our journey. And BTP is the platform that will help us all to build these optimized business processes.
That's a great response. Thanks a lot, Rajat. I think it's also great to see that we have everything in the place to see the process discovery, process simulations, as well as process improvement, and it can be all in all, end-to-end, one single solution.